I'm J.G. Michael, and this is Parallax Views.
I mean, are there strategies you think the left, both in the US and in Europe, should be adopting right now to build broader coalitions? Like, what's the future? How can they present a compelling alternative to both centrist and right-wing parties? I think that's the big question for a lot of people.
So I come back from Europe understanding the strength and weakness of our country, that we are poor, that we have two parties. We do have more. We have more parties, but until we have real national reforms, I hate to say that third parties, except maybe at the local state level, independence doesn't really work. So the Democratic Party is a coalition party. You got to lead with certain things that people can agree on. And I come back and I don't mean to repeat, but it's about a multiracial populist economics that speaks to people's lives. And then you can speak about other issues. But it's really speaking to the absence people feel. It's not just economics, but it's how can you feel community? How can community prevail over the chaos that is perpetrated on us day to day? And how can you weave that community together, finding the principles that animate a majority? I do think Trump is failing, but it doesn't mean people who voted for him are going to turn to the Democrats. That's a different equation. I mean, I think the tariff stuff and the level of, people didn't vote for Elon Musk. He's sort of gone now, but the level of corruption is so staggering that it makes you laugh and then it makes you reel over. And the farmers are being shafted and people who voted for him, there's no FEMA to help, et cetera, et cetera. But again, you can't just oppose, you have to propose. And I see that as the mission of a progressive Democratic wing of the party, and persuading those in a coalition, other Democrats, that there's a winning strategy here. We've had Dan Osborne come through. He's from Nebraska. He probably will run as an independent. There'll be some independents. And I think in the red states, that's an interesting strategy. And you do have a chair of the Democratic Party in Nebraska. And I think that to turn away from the red states is stupid, but it's not a winning strategy to say you're going to win, but you got to start speaking to people. And the 50-state strategy is not a new one. Howard Dean played with it. But it's a tough, building coalition is tough. And it's especially tough in a media environment like we have. We got your program, podcast, there's independent media, there's more of that. But I hate to say it, I take the last New York Post at the local drugstore. I just slip it. And yesterday it was AOC and the private planes on the front page. And what happens is it's not just the cover story of the New York Post. Inside there are 20 mentions of AOC and they've started calling her the private jet AOC. Give me a break. There are bigger issues than the individualism of the ecology, the environment, and private planes. You've got to be ferocious in pushing back. Not every media outlets do different things, but there has to be a pushback. And we're living at a time, the nation's been covering this for years, where the big media clearly has regulatory business inside Washington. And you've got a president who's playing with that in a ferocious way. So it's a tough time. And you see that beginning in France, for example, where there's a new kind of Fox channel. There's very good media, but there's the growth, again, is in the kind of Fox arena, which is a measure of the times.